Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you may be in the world. I'm Sarah Jane. This is today's conversation.
And we'll just wait for our colleagues to all get in to the room.
Oh, Enolia, can you not hear us? Chessie and Julia, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay,
Enolia.
so it's Enolia that we've lost. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, technology. The gremlins obviously are at work. Bless their cocks. Right, Enolia is my co-host, and hopefully she will be with us throughout the programme in spite of this little glitch at the beginning. And I would also like to welcome our guests, Chessie Roberts. Chessie, would you like to give it? Yes, excellent. And Julia Stubbe. Julia, welcome. Thank you both for joining us. Enolia, can you hear us?
Pull us together.
I don't know whether she was saying yes.
I think she still might have her earbuds plugged into the computer.
Enolia.
Can you chat with her?
Chat. Enolia, can you hear us? Enolia, we can see you. Please speak to us. Right. Can she see the message? Ladies and gentlemen, we do have a bit of a time delay with Enolia. Oh, and we've lost her altogether. We literally have lost her altogether because of the fact of videos. So hopefully she will come back in again. Anyway, the topic of our program this evening is light language and more. And I'm delighted to welcome our guests because now it's saying she's left the room. Oh, we have got time delays. Right, we're going to carry on. A few weeks ago, we did a light language program, and Enolia and I shared our story as to how we discovered we opened to the ability to speak light language. So we've shared our story. So if you're watching the replay video on YouTube, I will share the link under there. Or you can go to Gift of Healing TV website. You will find the link to today's conversation, and you'll find the replays. You'll find it there. And I know Enolia shares them as well. So it's available for you to watch. You don't need to hear our stories again. So I am going to say right, Julia, you said Chessie can go first.
I did.
So Chessie, I know that what you share is spoken symbols, but would you like to just share with us how you became aware of the ability, how the story unfolded for you?
Certainly, I'd be happy to. I was in distress over the condition of the planet, and this was before that big energy shift in 2000. And so I sat down and talked to my guides, and I have a plethora of them. I couldn't tell you exactly who's up at any moment because they're just there, and whoever needs to talk to me does. So they're just my GPS, my guidance spirits. And I asked them point blank, what can we do besides behave ourselves, which people don't seem to be able to do, to help heal the planet, to help rejuvenate the planet? And they told me that there was a way, but that people just wouldn't listen to it. They've been trying to get it across for thousands of years. And I said, oh, please share it with me and I'll see what I can do. And so they informed me that there is a thing called, they called it a word that I could not begin to pronounce in my entire life if I tried. And I told them, you're going to need to give me human verbiage for what you're telling me. And they said, oh, you mean clumsy human words? And I said, exactly. So in clumsy human words, I'm going to translate what they told me. They call them spoken symbols. And I was informed that these spoken symbols, and as you will find out, and as it has been pointed out to me by our lovely hostess, sounds a bit like Parseltongue if you're any fan of Harry Potter stories, but it isn't. It's something altogether. It is not a language. It isn't words like we as human beings know words. They are not symbols like we know symbols, but that's as close to what they are as we can get. They are actually vibrations that resonate with certain areas on the planet. And they gave me like 25 or so. And they cover everything. And I asked them to translate as best they could and try to make it a phraseology, because it's easier for human beings to remember phraseologies, I think, than just draw things out of the ethers like we can do, and we do, but not everybody's attuned to that. So what they did was they gave me, as best possible, took us 5 hours to get through all of this because you have to pronounce them properly, and I had to write down the diacritical, the phonetic spellings and all that sort of things and meaning so that I would get them correctly. And they quizzed me over and over until I could do it properly. So basically, they have given me the divine within me to spread sacred light to heal. And that's basically what the beginning of everything comes down to. So when I give you a phrase, it starts with the divine within me, sacred light to heal or to spread, healing, to heal, and then the area. And the wonderful thing that I found out about this is as you do this in a meditation, they say it's best to go to the area, but if you want to do caves, you can't always get to a cave, but you can do a meditation and bring in pictures of caves into your mind. And as you do that, the vibration itself brings in all these other beautiful pictures of places you didn't know existed. And the one that really strikes me and might strike a chord with our listeners and the rest of you is water, because we all have a very strong sense of what water is. Oceans, rivers, lakes. Well, it's also in things you wouldn't think about. Of course, the plants and animals are obvious, ourselves. But the one that really threw me was bees. It's in bees. It's in insects. It's in crystals. It's in everything. It permeates this planet. And they finished up with wake up, enlightenment, ignorance. And they tell you to finish up with the divine within me, spread sacred light to heal healers. So it's a rather lengthy meditation if you do the whole thing, but that's the sum and substance of it. And I tried to share it, and it went a little way, but not as far as it needs to go. And I'm hoping this program will open more avenues for people to inquire, and I would be happy to share with whoever's interested. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Chessie. We've got somebody who's having trouble getting in by the looks of it. So, Carrie, try coming out and coming back in again. And I hope that will work for you. And I noticed you said that as a private message, but I apologize. But just because Carrie could be anywhere in the world, it could be any Carrie that's out there. So I hope by coming out and coming back in again, you'll be able to get in and hear us. Well, she's obviously in the room to send the message. So fingers crossed. Chessie, lovely. Julia, let's go straight to you and ask you to share, because your story is going to be so totally different, as were Enolia's and mine.
Absolutely. Mine's since I was a child, I still remember like 5 or 6 years old going out into the field and saying, why did you leave me here? Did you come, where did you go? When are you coming back? As a young child. And when I was in high school, my best friend was reading the romantic novels, and I was reading stuff about UFOs and ETs. And she said, you really read the weirdest stuff. So I've always had that connection. I've worked with many of the different galactic beings over the years. And I went to a paradigm shift workshop out in Sedona. and they were working with light language. I'm like, oh, I do that, but I didn't realize what it was called. It was just like this little bit here and that. And I'm like, okay. And a couple years later, I mean, I wasn't really embracing it. I was just going with it, whatever, whenever it wasn't full blown out of me. And a couple years later, we're talking like probably 6 years ago, a friend of mine gave me a light language deck by Dorian Light, that these are like 65 different symbols that and words, like you had said, Chessie, that she had channeled, and they didn't really have a meaning, but Spirit had me read them aloud, 65 of them, of these little catchphrases, 3 times out loud, each one, all in one shot. So I obeyed, because I am an obedient something. And the very next day, my friend who had given me the cards, we went to this park. And when we did that, all of a sudden I was channeling all this verbiage was coming out of me. And I couldn't stop for 20 minutes, literally. I couldn't catch my breath. I can hear the plants talking to me, and they were calling me names, and I just couldn't stop. I could not stop. So that was what really fully activated it, as far as that goes. And then anytime I would be out in nature, I would begin to channel. So it was a connection with nature, the codes, the vibration. And like if I'd be doing a walk and I'd see another human 2-legged being, I'd say, English for 2 minutes, please, so that I wouldn't be channeling to them, because I was channeling to the planet. And I had many different beings show up as far as that goes. And then 3 years ago, my 85 team came in, and they said they had messages for the planet for assisting in raising their vibration. And how they explained to me that the light language, or the galactic language, or the star language, however you want to label it in our monkey mind, is actually a living transmission. So it can mean and vibrate something different in each and every person, and even in the same person if listened to at a different time, because that vibration resonates with whatever you need at that time. So it's a living entity. So to try to decipher, they can give me a subject of what it's about, like to release sphere codes or work on your root chakra or whatever that might be. But if you want a full translation, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So that's kind of it in a nutshell.
And that is exactly, it's not about there being a translation. And people's reaction to me is, oh, I just feel so relaxed and calm. And even my sort of yesterday, she experienced some for the first time, only she just had a wisdom tooth out, so bless her cotton socks, she was not thinking. So I don't know what her reaction to the fact that I used light language with her was at the moment, because she wasn't aware I could do it. But yeah, and then last night I ended up by channeling a message from Chiron, which was really very different to what I'd done before. And I think it's fascinating. I really do. Enolia, you're back with us. All right, has she muted herself? Oh, can you turn your mic on, Enolia? You haven't got your mic. I've got your camera, but not your mic. Your mic's off, sweetheart. No, mic is off.
I think her headphones are still plugged in, Sarah.
Okay.
No, they're not. It's
there she is.
There she is.
It's a delay.
We now got you, I hope. You heard what Chessie'd got to say. I don't know how much of what Julia said. Have you got anything you'd like to share?
I believe that what we have comes in at different frequencies. And I just want to introduce that concept to you or to our audience, because yes, I speak light language, but I also respond to those at the frequency that they're actually speaking in, or working with. So, you know, you might have that gift that shares and that channels, and it's so much more expansive than even what we believe it can be, especially when we're starting out. So always keep that mind open and that opportunity open, because the response that you might get might be something totally different than what you're used to. And yes, the channeling comes through. My channeling comes through usually in response and in conversation, not necessarily that I'm going to channel, here it is, and this is who it's from. But by all means, I know when it's coming through, I know when it's passing through, and I know when it's me versus when I'm channeling. So every gift comes in differently. It really does. And it's beautiful that we're all here together and really sharing what all these beautiful gifts can look like.
And I think, yes, it's important that this is got out, that those, and I know a number of people who speak it, and I'm, you know, if you're open to it, then hopefully, then you actually become more and more aware of people that do speak it in their own unique way. So I think one of the questions we asked last time was, almost, I think, reaction. Has there been anything specific, anything special? Mind you, it's all special in its own unique way, of sort of something that you've shared and a reaction or a feeling that somebody has had, to help people realize that it's okay to do this. It really is okay to do it. So Julia, we'll come to you first.
Well, I've worked with many, and it's like they would say that they just feel so much lighter and so like uplifted. And so it could be, you know, it's just the magic that happens. They all feel something. You know, some of them might get a release from it, but then they feel better after the release. So whatever is supposed to be will be. One of the things I wanted to say, like Enolia said about, she doesn't, you know, you don't control, I don't know when I'm going to channel. Like I'll be walking around the house by myself with my cat, and all of a sudden I'll be talking up a storm, but it's not me. It's just like whatever they want to talk about. And it's like, and I just go with it and I just enjoy it. It's like, and like I said, when I'm out in nature, it really kicks in because it's really the codes for the planet. I mean, it's codes for her beings too, but mainly when they first started working with me, it was codes for the planet. And I just, you know, I ask for it to be of those high benevolent beings of the higher, you know, frequency of divine love or higher, so that we're only bringing those codes in. And I just really, I don't know, it's just, to me, it's just magic, just the way it works.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Chessie.
I like that word magic because I use it a lot. I work with a lot of people on a lot of different levels with a lot of different, I'm going to say issues. They're not all problems, but they come to me. I'm still not sure why, but I channel constantly, just like you do, Julia. Well, the rest of you probably also, but I can't exactly tell you what any sort of specialty might be. It depends on what's going on. It depends on who I'm speaking with. It depends on what it is that my guides want me to relay to any group of people. And I believe with every fiber of my being that we all speak in frequencies, whether it be vocal or color or whatever we come across with. The one that jumps to my mind, since I'm a retired singer-songwriter performer, is music. Music is probably one of the most visceral ways we communicate with one another. And it's not endemic to one group of people or one area of the, I'm going to say, the Earth or the galaxy. It's everywhere. And what resonates with any one person is anybody's guess at any given moment, because what moves me at 3 o'clock in the morning might make me go, what? At 2 in the afternoon. But as we learn to navigate the flow of these frequencies and this information as beings who do this particular service for whomever we do it for, I think we are, I'm going to say, gifted with the ability to translate as best we can to whomever it is we're hearing. One of the things that I always ask is, like you, Julia, that is always from the divine, because I don't accept anything else, so that it's at the highest frequency possible, so that I'm giving good information, and that whatever comes out of my mouth, no matter what it is, I mean, if I spewed rainbows, if that's what's needed, that's okay. As long as the recipient gathers what it is I'm trying to convey from the divine through me. I'm just a channel. That's why we use the word, to whomever is listening, to whomever I'm speaking to or with. Did that cover everything?
I think it's, yeah, I'm right there with you. It's amazing as far as that goes, because we are just channels. It's like we've been chosen to do this. And I think everyone has the ability to do it. It's just a matter if their DNA codes are awoken to it as far as that goes. So, and because we are different beings, different frequencies and vibrations channel through us. So what channels through me is different than what channels through you, because whoever resonates with whatever we're doing is going to resonate with different frequencies. And can you imagine if we did all of them? I can't imagine if we all had the gift to be able to channel everything. We would short circuit, I would think. At least I would. And so I think that's great that we have that different gift and that different variety, because we touch so many more people that way, and more beings in the planet as well, and humanity as a whole.
For me, it is important that it's different people bringing different aspects, because we're not here to touch every person's life, one individual to the whole. It's a matter of we're all here to touch the lives we're here to touch.
Mm-hmm.
That isn't everybody. We've had our own unique experiences that have brought us to this point. And those experiences are what helps other people, when we share them, what helps other people to resonate and connect with us. And so it is so important that we bring that unique gift and don't try and copy someone else. What's that saying? Something is about sort of don't die a copy, because we are meant to be our unique selves, you know. So it's a gift. Enolia.
So I would say that first and foremost, always look within and love self. Because when you love self, that is that frequency within that is vibrating out. And that's the basis of everything that we do, is love of self and looking within. And then when you truly engage in opening your heart, what you're basically saying is that you're laying down the things that would be limiting beliefs, the limiting beliefs that would stop that gift from flowing to its fullest. And so when you put down the limiting beliefs and let go of judgment, worrying about what people perceive, see, you know, taste, touch, feel, whatever the 5 physical senses that shuts us down would engage us, put those aside. So the limiting beliefs, we put down the physicalness, and then we work within the vertical. And, you know, and I'm saying it this way really to connect with the audience. The vertical is when you are coming in and you're saying that prayer, who are you saying that prayer to? When you hold things sacred, where are you holding it sacred? I call the horizontal the physical, and the vertical is that spiritual. It's the connection to spirit. It's the connection to Mother Earth. It's all that we hold sacred, the vertical, and the gateway is that heart. And that's why it's so important that when you open that heart and you allow that door to be open, then you can receive, and then you can let flow. So each one of us has this capability, and then what that gift is and how we ground it is who we attract. And those who would be attracted to the same frequencies we have or we are, come. They come into your lives, whether it's a reason for one reason or another, or for just a season, but they do come. So the beauty of all of this is that each one of us holds that. And if each one of us just held our light wherever we were or wherever we are, beautiful things can be received and given. So it's really, really important for us to just hold that light within, that beauty within, that love within. And that's the basis of the beginning of anything that you would call a gift.
Yeah. And it is from the heart. It is the love of ourself that empowers and energizes the gifts we bring. Beautifully said, Enolia. Yeah. Absolutely. Before we go into, because I think we will go into, I'm sure people are dying to hear some of this part of life, and what you've got to share as well, Julia. So, and I think it's really important that we've shared some thoughts about it before we just go into it, so people have a sense of us, and then we can. So before we actually go into that, and Chessie, anything else you would like to share? And I'll come to you in a second, Julia.
Very quickly, by what Enolia said, I'm reminded of a wedding that I officiated couple of years ago now. There were 12 different religious groups in attendance for this particular wedding. And when it was a camping outing, so that everybody was there together for an entire weekend. And when it started, we had each religious group in a little knot by themselves all around. And the bride and groom came to me and said, this bothers us. People are looking at us like, because we are not of the same faith base, we have to look at them funny. And so I said, okay, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. So I went into the area that we had blessed and made set aside for this wedding. And I did meditation and asked guidance again, like I always do, what to do. And they gave me the exact right thing to say. And it ties right in with what Enolia just told us. I got everybody in attendance before the wedding started. We were waiting. And I said, all right, I want you to look at how you're standing in this circle. And each group was mushed up together in its own little area within this space that we had set aside. And I said, all right, now think about why you're standing like that. And I gave him a minute. And then I said, all right, now I want you to think of one word, just one word that encapsulates the entire meaning of your faith to you. Gave him a minute. And I said, all right, now everyone, on the count of 3, I want you to speak that word aloud. 1, 2, 3. And can you guess what everybody said? It was love. There were no variations. That one word came from all of these different faith bases. And when they said that, I said, all right, now stop being afraid of each other and unite in that word, because that's why we're here, to celebrate that. And the circle relaxed. And after the wedding, they were best friends for the rest of the weekend. And I think that is the most visual thing I have ever seen that speaks to what you just spoke to, Enolia. So it was very moving, and I'll never forget it.
Thank you, Chessie. Julia.
Chessie, I want to thank you for that. I'm crying now because I just feel that, because we are all connected in such a way that each and every one is a part of another. God, the universe, source, however you want to look at it, is in each and every one of us, and we are all connected. So our ripples are amazing, And if we can just have love and compassion for ourselves, it raises our vibration and our frequency so that those who are around us, they're gonna feel that. So it's really important to love yourself and have compassion for yourself, and really keep your channel clear between, between source and earth, and your heart open to that love, and stay out of fear, because fear is what divides us, and anger what divides us, and hate divides us, and there's a lot of division right now. So if we can all just come into our hearts and know that we all just really want to be loved, and that's really what we all want, to just love one another. And maybe it sounds trite, but it's that simple for us to do. So, choose to be kind, choose to love one another. And if you can just be kind to everyone every day, and just have that kindness and compassion for yourself, you're raising the vibration of the planet. You're touching other people's lives, whether you channel light language or whatever it is, just doing that, you're actually adding a great contribution to humanity.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all of us learning to love ourselves, and know that that is okay to do that. In fact, it's not just okay, it's essential that we do love ourselves. And I know that when I do share those messages, I have no idea what I'm saying. I know that it is right for the individual at that point in time, because I trust what I am channeling, because I know it is coming from my soul, through my heart, through me. And if it's coming from my soul, it is coming from source, whatever you perceive source to be. And people's reaction of, oh, thank you, I feel so much better, I feel relaxed, I feel calm. Though only love can bring that sort of energy. So it doesn't matter, providing you are coming from an intention of love, an intention of caring, and the intention is really important. You are going to share. And I knew exactly what was coming, Chessie, not because I've heard the story before, because it made so much sense. And it's beautiful. And there's along the lines of a quote about all religions talk about love. So why aren't we all loving each other? Why are we all fighting each other? And so I get it. And it is so important, to just be ourselves and love ourselves. And so, Enolia, anything you wish to add as you started the love bit, which is important?
Yeah, and I know people are dying to hear, but I'm going to share this one little visual that I think is really important, because I talk to a lot of young people, and they'll basically say, well, you have to acknowledge the dark as well as the light, and everybody always talks about the light, but there's dark. And so I want to, for those of you who are always looking at like, well, people don't comment on the darkness, I want to make it akin to a cave. When you are in a dark cave, and let's say you had a lighter and you flicker that lighter, what happens to that cave? That cave is no longer dark. That cave is no longer dark, okay? And this is what it's akin to. Darkness is born of the light, and it changes with just one flicker. And that's why it is so important to be that flicker. We talk about one bad apple spoils the whole bunch. Well, think about this. One flicker of light changes the darkness, and it's no longer dark. And I'm going to go on the reverse end of that. If you are in your light, can you introduce a flicker of darkness? Well, I'm going to say you can. But guess how it comes? The flicker is fear. The flicker is victimhood. The flicker is all of those things that you use to say, I can't be in my light. That's how we introduce darkness into that beautiful light. So the question is, can we balance and be in our light? Can we balance? Because we're going to have hints of mood swings and anger and so on and so forth, but can we balance and remain in our light? We don't have to be the dark cave in order to acknowledge that we have flickers. So I just leave that visual there as a thought.
Carry on, Julia.
Absolutely, please do.
I just want to say that when we flicker that light, it allows us to see our shadow, and that's all part of us. So for us to be able to see our shadow gives us an opportunity to heal the darkness or those things that within inside of us. So that's a great analogy. And without just that flicker of light, we wouldn't be able to see our shadow. We would just be in that. And the shadow is still part of us. So it's about loving all of us as a whole,
Yes.
shadow and all.
Yes, Chessie.
I'm reminded of a Native American story. The young boy came to his father and he said, "What's wrong with people? These people fight all the time. These people don't want to fight all the time. What's going on?" And the father told him, "There are two wolves in everyone." And a lot of you, I know, have heard the story. He said, there's the wolf of light, there's the wolf of dark, and you need balance in all things. He said, "Well, which one wins the fight?" And he said, "Well, which one do you feed?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that.
So what comes to my mind is a yin yang symbol made of wolves.
Mm-hmm.
Which one do you feed?
Yes.
And balance the light and the dark, and you've got shade, but as just pointed out, you kind of have to have those flickers. You have to have that shade. You have to have a little downtime. You can't always be up all the time. But once you start to vibrate within that frequency and that resonance, and one of my sayings is raise your resonance. It's one of my hashtags. Once you raise your resonance and you learn how to live there,
That's right.
the funny thing about it is when the flickers happen, you acknowledge them. You say, yeah, that was a rough patch, but you're not comfortable there anymore. And that's the trick of it. Are you comfortable in your flicker? Are you comfortable in your victimhood, darkness, whatever you want to call it? And if you are, then you're right. You might want to re-examine where your balance really is and where you really want to be and raise that resonance.
And let's do that right now, hopefully, with some sharing. Now, I don't know who to start with, whether I have to go to Julia first or go to Chessie first. Okay.
There's nobody, just so you know, when you're pointing, there's nobody there. I'm above you. So you want to point up. Okay, that's better.
On my screen, you're over there.
And actually,
She made me start first early. It's her time now.
The fact that you're pointing is Julia. Okay. Would you like to share something?
Let's see what shows up. So what they're saying is they want to follow through with this topic of balance. Balancing the light and the shadow within all of us to become whole. Yana, yana no nikara ya, esenia kore wa, elehia reua, enua, elekia natata o, enese te o to, e unkana, inaho, senike anula la sita, emiaku, elekiatu, eano eolo, iro, ya no, elokono ona, eseno toe o kakia kua, enesia ua, la, eohara ho. Yana sena tude okado hilakata, and Okay, now we're done. There's more, but they're saying, we get it. Everybody gets a turn. Okay.
I love it. I love it. And hopefully we've got Enolia back because she managed to drop out through part of that. Bless her, but she can go back and listen to it. Chessie, so what are you feeling drawn to share within the symbols so that people can hear them?
Funny you should ask that. I was asking guidance before the show started, before we logged on. Was there anything I needed to add to this list? Because the list is a little bit long, so I'm not going to go through the whole thing. But they gave me a brand new symbol that I had not had until right now, today. And I will give it to you because they've told me that I really should. And it resonates with attitude. Now, know that as you say this, what you're saying is the divine in me, the divine spirit in me heals, and whatever you say. So we're healing attitude. We are not becoming one with any attitude. We're becoming one with the healing of attitude. Okay? And it plays out is Mihelo Rach, Mihelo Rach, Shinrath, Her, Mekiji. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Yeah, they jumped on me. Mekaijini. Mihelo Ra, Minasehe, Shinrath, Mekaiji. I apologize for the first one. Like I said, I just got this morning. I haven't dented it into my head. Would you like for me to say it again correctly? Mihelo Ra, Minath Sehe, Shinrath, Her, Mekaijni.
That will take some practice, but that's
Yes.
beautiful.
Yes, it does. And I've got them here for different areas: water, air, animals, mammals, two-leggeds, four-leggeds, however you want to. So if there's a specific interest, let me know and I'll read that one.
Chessie?
I'm going to ask you to read water. I
Water.
want to hear you read water.
Water. Okay. Let me be sure I'm looking at the right one so that I don't misspeak again. Here we go. Mihelo Rach, Minath Sehe, Shinrath here Wernath.
Mihila Roshane.
No, Mihilo Rach. More of a hello, sort of a cross between hello and hilo. Mihelo Rach, Shinrath, her Wernath. Wernath. There's a lot in the back of the throat. It reminded me of Arabic. I was mentioning to her that I used to live in Morocco, and I used to speak Arabic fluently. I don't any longer, but they use that back of the throat guttural in their speech a lot. That's what it reminded me of. This new one, the Mekaijni, doesn't sound like any of these, so it kind of surprised me. But it's a new thing, so.
Julia, you wish to ask?
I just want to, it's like, I love how they give you the codes and they give you what it is to, just that topic, and here's the code for it, and how you become one with it and become that wholeness within it. So I love the way they work with you and bring that gift, because that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, beautiful.
So I know
It's a wonderful meditation when you do it all together. It takes you places you can't even begin to imagine.
So have you shared that meditation, or is that something that people can connect with you about?
I have shared it in the past, but frankly, I've upgraded computers and I don't really know where it might be anymore. But if anybody is interested, they can contact me on Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter. I'm on all three, and I would be more than happy to have a session with them. I do one-on-ones video style or however they would like. So yeah, I can do that.
Because I think that'd be something sort of beautiful to sort of share. And if helping more people to experience it via doing it something like this, you know, I don't know, if you've got Zoom, I know you can have multiple people. It doesn't have to be one-on-one. I don't use Zoom because I've used this all along. I've used Webinar Jam from the very beginning of Gift of Healing TV. So it seems daft for me to change, but as most of the time, I don't get any problems.
Well, I use Zoom and Skype, and I'll even do a video on Facebook video.
Yeah.
Just whatever works for them. But unfortunately, I don't have this lovely particular program, but I like it.
You've been on it before with me.
Yes, I have.
And Julia, because obviously sort of, I know you do your programs, you've got programs that you do as well, haven't you? But you're sort of, it's people connecting with you.
As far as what I offer, are you asking? I'm not. I've totally misplaced what the context of the question is.
Well, obviously, people wanted to do the meditation with Chessie to be able to get more information. It's really important that people connect with her, but it's also important that people connect with yourself. So if
I facilitate. I mean, I facilitate. I utilize the light language too. I'll do personal transmissions as if there's private messages for individuals, and we can connect into that. But how I go is, since I work with the galactics and I keep my channel clear, is that I really connect with source and I get messages from source, so that whatever information or frequency or vibration is coming through is clear, so that whoever I'm working with gets that information unadulterated, so that it's pure. And that's part of the gift that I have, one of them as far as that goes. So those one-on-one sessions are more about, it could go in any direction they want, whether it's integrating their shadow side or working with inner child work. There's just so many directions that spirit or source has utilized me for. So I don't really see as far as any limits go as far as that goes. Does that answer what you were looking for?
So people can get in touch with you. So
well, they can get on my website, which is juliastubbe.com, and I'm also on Facebook, and I have a YouTube channel, which is Julia Stubbe, the Galactic Channel, and on there is there's healing processes like tools for empaths as far as that goes, and they're short. And then there's also what I call the galactic transmissions, which are based on light language or star language or whatever comes through. And that's a variety. I think there's like maybe 10 of them out there. So it's the frequency of joy, the frequency of peace, opening different codes, releasing fear codes. So there's a lot of value out there that's already free, that's available for people to listen to. And yeah, that's a beginning.
And we've shared their bio, both Chessie's and Julia's bio on the website under the today's conversation, so you can find out more about them. So please do think about that. But what I'd like to do to finish is, Chessie, I don't know whether you've got some words that you'd like to use or some symbols you'd like to share, but like a message from each of us in whatever form it then decides to come. So are you up for that, all of you?
I am, but it might take me a minute because I haven't connected on that level with the four of you, just so that I could keep my mind on what I was doing. But yeah, I can open up to that. but
Yeah.
if you, it's going to take me a second or two.
Okay, we can come to you last then, so that you can experience what others are sharing, and then you can share as well. Are you okay?
Yes.
So, Enolia,
I'm listening. They're talking to me. I was trying to listen.
okay. Enolia, would you like to start?
I wanted the okay. Well, first of all, I love the fact that I got knocked off with that high frequency. It was beautiful. It was beautiful from what I heard, and I feel like I'm still receiving. So, usually the light language comes in, but right now I'm feeling a lot of toning. So I'm going to go with a little bit of toning. Toning.
Yes.
Okay. Irananiataru irau hararuche irarum ruaum iranaya chataru inaniata aru inia chanta aru kentenenia pranum chata aronteate oi chataya. You.
Thank you, Enolia.
It was beautiful.
Julia.
They just have a little song. They're saying, we want to sing a little ditty for you. I'm like, so I'm not sure what that's going to look like, guys. So here we go. Dee 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 dong 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 dong. Dee 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 doo. Dee 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 dong 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 dong. Dee 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 doo. Ayakono no no. Oh, ina nakataka, maka maka ma. Ay no hulala na na ti ti to. Yana sana uha. Hey, lukukukukuka. Yo. Dee 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 dong.
I love it. I love it.
That made my heart smile.
I know, it's like they have a sense of humor. They make you giggle inside. That's the way I call it. When they want to do stuff like that, well, they're going to make you giggle inside. And it's like, okay, just don't make me pee my pants. That's all I'm asking for. So we're good.
And they say laughter is the best medicine. So
yes,
Absolutely.
love is the greatest healer. Laughter is the best medicine. Okay, I'll give you a couple more minutes. Oh, a couple minutes to see what. You ready? You ready?
Ready.
Well, I'll go last then. Chessie?
All right. Mihilorach, Minath Sehe, Shinroth, Her Niagwahath, Dak, Mekaijni, Dak, Herototh.
Mm.
Whew. That's the longest one I've ever had to come up with. Basically, it touched on humanity, mammals and humanity as mammals, healers, and attitudes of global.
Can really feel it in my heart chakra. It's really expanding. It's like, so I'm just asking for grace and ease for anybody who's listening. If their heart chakra is like going woohoo, just allow it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you.
Kam te aka na che e te maka an te yoko. Loran te shtia. Kam te nai kuma akaria ne shtiaya. Tam teika. Kirto I akache I teika. Lo na akate mai teiki. Ye che te ne kirto I akache mai. Le tamaka a I aromo quishti. Per kana achini a achcheene. Kim te kahan hahani. Och ina a. Pachni che nakahina. Hoinaina. Chanteta kahana che ngokote. Per noyaka.
Beautiful, Sarah Jane.
That was
Thank you, Sarah
lovely.
Jane.
As I've listened to all of us speaking our whatever, I guess truth would be a good word for it. For those watching, I'm not crying. I have an eye thing. But this will move you, yes. I'm struck at how I've lost the word I want. All the languages together, they're all unique and they're all different, but they resonate with me as indigenous. That's it. They're very indigenous to throw a dart at something. The earth, any planet out there, any indigenous language I've ever heard in any form, shape, way, anything. It amazes me at how alike they are. And do I hear a balance in there somewhere? Perhaps. Guidance is laughing at us, by the way.
Love of laughter, laughter of love.
Love.
Well, I always try to be entertaining, and apparently I do a good job. So.
Oh, I'm sure us humans absolutely keep them sort of laughing at times.
They do this a lot too.
Despair is a lot as well. Bless. Julia, anything that you felt with all of that?
I'm just grateful to have been a part of this and to be able to share in the energies and be able to touch, humanity in this platform. So just to be in that gratitude and to just remind everybody about self-love and self-compassion that's really where it's at as far as things go. And by doing that, your ripples are amazing. So let your magical ripples ripple away and love yourself today. Woohoo!
Absolutely. Today and every day.
And every day, yes.
I want to say it's been beautiful. It's been absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining us. Now I'm going to hand over to Enolia because she's going to finish us off.
Yes. First of all, I want to say thank you to our beautiful, beautiful guests. We so appreciate you being here, and we thank you. And if you want to find out more about Chessie or Julia or Sara Jane or myself, there will be a recording of this show that is released, and all of their information will be on it to be in contact with them. So if you want to get in contact with them one-on-one, check out their websites. That information will be there on today's conversation. And it will say Language of Light too. So I want to thank our guests. And I want to share with you that our next show will be March 12th, 2021, and it will be at 9 a.m. PST, 10 a.m. MST, 11 a.m. CST, 12 p.m. EST, and GMT. It
5
will be
p.m.
at 5 o'clock, 5 p.m. And that's 7 p.m. for me out here in Africa. So, and we're having our special guest, Bukeka. Bukeka is, first of all, let me say her full name, which is Bukeka Blackmore, a beautiful, beautiful singer, beautiful spiritual person. And the topic that she's going to be talking about is I am worthy. I am worthy.
Nice.
Awesome.
And that's going to be a really, really powerful speech coming from a really, really powerful woman. So I hope that you'll join us on March 12th at 5 p.m. GMT and enjoy today's conversation. I'm going to leave you with this little prayer. Let my thoughts be divine thoughts. Let me hear in a divine way. Let me see in a divine way. Let me formulate my words from the divine. Let me speak in a divine way. Let it all come from my heart, and let it all come from our hearts. Thank you for joining us on today's conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll all get kicked out of the room. Now we're going off air. Bye, folks. Thank you for taking part. Bye.
Bye.